Javier Ortega gripped the controls of his battered freighter. His hands steady despite the storm raging in his chest. The holographic image of his daughter Maria floated beside him, her laugh frozen in a memory he couldn't shake. It was this same laugh, this same face, that the Galactic authorities had dismissed with bureaucratic indifference. Human cargo loss isn't a priority, they'd said, their monotone voices void of empathy. But to Javier, Maria wasn't cargo. She was his entire world. The ship jolted as it entered the warp rift, a region known for ripping apart vessels far more advanced than his. Sparks flew from exposed wires, and alarms blared in protest. Javier silenced them with a sharp punch to the console. "Not now," he muttered, his voice a mix of exhaustion and determination. He'd spent months chasing faint traces of her last known location, piecing together a trail that led to Calog 3, a mining system under the control of the Vran Dominion. It wasn't the kind of place anyone wanted to end up, let alone a 22-year-old Earth trader. The rift's gravitational pull intensified, threatening to tear the ship apart. Javier activated the mining thrusters, their crude power designed for asteroid drilling, not interstellar travel. The ship groaned, but the thrusters held, propelling him through the chaos. Outside the viewport, the swirling vortex gave way to the cold, star-dotted expanse of Calo 3's orbit. Javier exhaled, relief fleeting as a new sound filled the cockpit. A deep hum, like the growl of a waking beast, resonated through the ship. His radar lit up with red blips, dozens of them. He squinted at the display, confusion giving way to a bitter chuckle. "Of course," he said. The Vran Dominion had detected his unauthorized entry, and they were sending a welcome party. The blips resolved into sleek warships, their dark hulls glinting with predatory intent. Javier's fingers danced over the controls, rerouting power to the shields, or what was left of them. His ship wasn't built for combat. It was a miner's vessel, a relic of Earth's desperate attempts to stay relevant in a galaxy that had long since moved on. But Javier wasn't here to fight. He was here to find Maria. The first barrage came without warning. Plasma bolts slammed into the ship, shaking it violently. Javier cursed under his breath, steering the freighter into a chaotic spiral. The mining lasers, originally meant for cutting through asteroid cores, fired automatically in response. A beam of raw energy struck one of the warships, severing its engines. The ship spun out of control, crashing into another vessel. A chain reaction of explosions lit up the void. Javier stared in disbelief. "That wasn't supposed to happen," he muttered, gripping the controls tighter. The Vran fleet seemed to hesitate, their formation breaking as they re-evaluated their opponent. To them, the mining lasers were no mere accident. They were a calculated strike. Unaware of the fear he'd just instilled, Javier pushed the freighter forward, his focus singular. Maria was out there, and nothing, not a fleet, not a dominion, not even the universe itself, was going to stop him. Javier's ship coasted silently through the dark, fractured expanse of space, its once glimmering hull now battered and dented from the skirmish. His hand hovered over the comms panel, fingers twitching with a mix of hesitation and exhaustion. He had fought off a fleet, but his fight wasn't over. Maria was still somewhere in the void, a speck in the galaxy, and the Vran had only been the beginning. If he wanted to save her, he needed help. The alien voice from before crackled again, this time clearer. "You are human, yet you do not act like one. You are not foolish enough to keep fighting. Not without a plan." The voice's tone was cool, analytical. Javier paused. This wasn't the typical warlord or pirate trying to scare him. It was something else. "I'm not looking for a fight," Javier replied, his voice steady but strained. "I'm looking for my daughter, Maria Ortega. She was taken by the Vran. I'm not stopping until I find her." He didn't expect the alien to understand, but there was something in the tone that made him continue. "If you're listening, I need information. I don't care who you are." There was a pause before the voice responded, almost as if the alien was considering whether to help, or if it should simply eliminate him. "You are different," the voice said, still curious. "You understand survival. Perhaps that is enough." The transmission cut off, and for a moment, Javier thought he had lost the connection. Then, unexpectedly, a holographic image of a slender, four-armed alien appeared in front of him. Its face was smooth, emotionless, but its eyes, though alien, were perceptive. "I am Dr. Owen," the figure said, the voice now clearer, with an edge of quiet respect. "I know where she is. Can help you find her. But first you need to understand. The Vran are not the only force at play here." Javier leaned forward, heart hammering. "What do you mean?" "Maria Ortega's disappearance was no accident," Dr. Arelvien continued. "You were never meant to find her. But her presence, her genetic potential, it is valuable to more than just the Vran. There are powers beyond your comprehension, and they are using her, as they have used others before her. Your daughter is a key in something far greater." Javier's grip on the console tightened, his pulse racing. He wasn't sure if it was fear or anger that surged within him. "And what does that mean for me?" Dr. Arelvien's expression was unreadable. "Means you are now a part of this larger scheme. Whether you wish to be or not. You've unknowingly triggered something. But it also means you have a choice. Humanity, for all its flaws, possesses something that these powers lack, something that makes you unpredictable." Dr. Owen's gaze softened, a strange look in its eyes. "You have resilience, Captain Ortega. You have something that will make them fear you. That is why I'm helping you. Because, despite the odds, you have already proven that you can beat them." Javier felt a sudden surge of cold resolve flood his veins. The galaxy had always underestimated humanity, always written them off as weak, insignificant. But that same underestimation had led to their downfall time and again. He wasn't just a miner. He wasn't just a father on a mission. He was a human. And humans had a way of surviving, of winning against all odds. "I don't care what they think," Javier said, his voice a low growl. "I'm going to get Maria back. And if I have to burn this galaxy to the ground to do it, so be it." Dr. Owen seemed almost pleased by the response. "That spirit will take you farther than you realize. But you must understand that what lies ahead will not be easy. There is a station in the Zerith cluster, a research facility heavily guarded. It is where Maria is being held, where they are using her for their experiments." Javier's eyes narrowed. The Zerith cluster. He had heard of it, but it was one of those places that no one in their right mind would approach. A lawless zone filled with mercenaries, pirates, and factions all vying for control. The very thought of trying to infiltrate it made his gut twist, but the choice was clear. His options were running out. "You're sure about this?" Javier asked, already preparing himself for the worst. "This is where they're keeping her." "I am certain," Dr. Owen confirmed. "I will give you the coordinates. But be warned. The forces guarding it are beyond what you've faced so far. You will need more than just your ship to succeed." Javier's mind raced. He had nothing left to lose, but this was a different kind of war. No longer was it just about a missing daughter. Now it was about confronting the unseen powers that ruled the galaxy, those that believed they could control humanity's fate. "Then I'll make them wish they never underestimated a human," Javier said, his voice low, burning with determination. "Give me the coordinates. It's time to bring Maria home." As the alien's form flickered and disappeared, Javier set his course for the Zerith cluster. The challenge ahead was more dangerous than anything he had faced before. But as he looked at the coordinates, a quiet certainty filled him. He had a mission. And he wasn't backing down.